In Kyejonjo, Museveni addressed a rally at Katosa Primary School playground. Museveni directed the Minister for Local Government, Raphael Magezi, to investigate the allegation of mismanagement of Paris Development Model Funds.
Minister Magezi will come here, he will be in touch with your leaders here, and he will call a public meeting, and we shall finish this problem. Now, regarding, that's one mistake of biased allocation. Now, but there is the one which is criminal now. The one of saying that I give you 1 million, but you give me 200,000 for me to give you that. Those will be arrested. That's a crime. It's not just a mistake, it is a crime. The other one is a mistake, it can be corrected now by organizationally. It can be corrected by now electing a committee which will do proper things.
He pledged to rehabilitate the Fort Portal Mubende Mitiana Road, saying the funds are now available.
Ejenguto imkugamba ya Kampala ebere kuzire enarime kajombeko umukasumi ubutabere tena sente koraz ekabane garukira Mitiana umukasumi wakatuka tena sente.
President Museveni encouraged the residents to embrace commercial agriculture and the 4-acre model.
Na weche ebi byona hamu emisingi ebya nyikala y'abantu hamune emisingi ebya entahya byona hamu tubitwara omukiti kya enkurakurana. Baitu kandi twabaye NRM tutamani hakigambo ekindi aboko myaka yenkaga hakariho okubaza na hata mbenumbaza mkosi kigambo enkurakurana nikizoka numanyisa engudo na amasomero n'ebindi baitu hariho ekigambo ito kitubasaba mwahure.
On Wednesday, December the 10th, Museveni will campaign in Chiriandongo and Masindi in Bunyoro sub-region. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kyejonjo.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has now entered Bunyoro sub-region to advance the 2026-2031 presidential campaign trail. He was holding the first campaign rally in Kibale district, where he has pledged to fast-track the establishment of an industrial park for Bunyoro sub-region as soon as he secures enough land.
Buyanja Secondary School Playground has hosted the Tuesday 9th December 2025 NRM Presidential Campaign Rally. The Tuesday rally has attracted party supporters across Kibale district. This is the first NRM Presidential Rally in Bunyoro sub-region for candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
The oil and the gas project gari manane netambura kurungi kantu inokusima nokunira bingi bitujja kufuna project yeye. Your Excellency ongera kusima okutuombekera exai kyaitu ekya Kabalega International Airport. Ninyongera kusima the Hoima Stadium. Gari manane Hoima Stadium nyonkujira mu East Africa niye kuzoka ekyasingamu.
In Kibale, the president was flanked by the Speaker of Parliament Anita Ntamo and Prime Minister Robin Anabanja.
Mbaile ninsaba nka chairman w'Obugwaizoba industrial parks ezo zibe nizitekebwamu omunkora.
Honorable Nabanja, the Prime Minister, and the Honorable Minister of Finance, As the second national vice chairperson, I am telling you to deliver Bunyoro 99%.
Abantu bakibale muwulire kino kye tulina kukola kutunga obujunaanizibwa obwa buli muntu kuseera akaruru abatasoboire kwija hano tugende tukase ulenjuhanju abakugamba njuhanju bara.
Ministers, members of parliament, security and religious leaders joined the cheerful crowds to accompany the president at this rally.
Inywa ba Bunyoro murubakaiso mukarora babiri barenga kutabure Uganda aba ADF bakayija hano muri kibare bakahikamu omukibera kya Muzizi bakahikamu twabacwamu twabamaramu.
According to the president, the prevailing peace in the country has been partly supported by different religions.
Nsime kanisa ya mutabani wange Bisaka ejenjiri ni yatwonyere okugaita Uganda.
In his address, President Museveni read out an extract of some articles written by Europeans about Uganda, particularly Western Uganda, highlighting its immense potential.
Echo mjungu akachandika 1887 December 5th bikwezi bitano. Fields of millet and sesame, plots of sweet potatoes occupied the outskirts of the evidence round about that land, about the land was thickly populated and industrially cultivated. Economic volume 1, page 298, in the Darkest Africa by Henry Stanley. Yagumzamu. Going on with the march, we next came to Ndongo, a perfect garden of plantains. The whole country was rich, most surprisingly so. The same streaky, agrarious sandstones prevailed as in Karagwe. Karagwe in Tanzania.
Here, the president was driving the point of ranking wealth creation above development.
The herds were numerous and all as fat as prize cattle. In the valley, we passed over 4,000 cattle of the longhorn species. The basin of the Rizi, which we are now in, and which was the heart of Ankori, possessed scores of the finest herds of cattle I had never seen before.
At this rally, President Museveni reiterated that when availed enough lands, the next government will establish an industrial park in Bunyoro sub-region to supplement the oil plants, which is currently taking shape in the area.
Nabo echo ningoza muntu ngiri takerindi rikoto aka kumugambire tinkikiriza yika 10 ibyo kuzana ati nyonka birugamu.
Museveni will continue with his presidential campaign trail in Bunyoro sub-region throughout the entire week.
Yejegwa hapuyo karubuza urugutoro ntubaza n'abachina beja kutandika kurukora abachina baitu bari.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Thanks, Robert, for that story. Now, let's go back to Kyenjojo a little bit, and of course, that's where the president was campaigning from. Now, Kyenjojo district is located in western Uganda in the Toro sub-region. It was created in 2000 after being carved out of Kabarole district. Now, the district is known for its rolling green hills, rich agricultural land, and a predominantly rural population. Now, most residents depend on farming and growing crops such as tea, coffee, among others. The district is culturally vibrant and it's home to the Batoro and Bakiga, and it forms part of the Kingdom of Toro. Now let's take a look at the government scorecard in Kyenjojo district.
Kyenjojo district has 31 sub-counties, 167 parishes and 892 villages, with a population of 543,998 according to the Census Report 2024. Breaking down the parish development model in Kyenjojo district, the district has cumulatively received 51.58 billion Uganda shillings. Out of this, 51.69 billion Uganda shillings, representing 100.21%, has been disbursed to 51,799 beneficiary households. With 130,853 households in Kyenjojo, 51,799, also 39.5%, have benefited from the PDM. For the Emyoga, the district has a total of 54 Emyoga SACCOs with 25,336 members. Government has so far disbursed a total of 2.76 billion Uganda shillings. Looking at the education sector, Kyenjojo district has a total of 128 government primary schools with 78,888 pupils enrolled, 11 government secondary schools with 7,858 students enrolled. Breaking down the health sector, out of 31 sub-counties in Kyenjojo, 1 has a hospital, 1 has a health center 4, and 16 have health center 3s. 13 sub-counties have a health facility of either a health center 3, health center 4, or a hospital. When you look at the water sector in Kyenjojo district, out of 892 rural villages in Kyenjojo district, 609 have access to a safe water source, representing an average coverage of 68%. Looking at the energy sector, the district is now connected to the national grid. In the next Chisanja, government will provide electricity to the 6 sub-counties that are not connected to electricity, including Bufunjo, Charusozi, Chisojo, among others, rehabilitate 5 boreholes, as well as complete the construction of Mahasa Kawaruju water supply system, construct 13 new health center 3s, including Nyantungo, to be constructed in Nyantungo sub-county, complete the construction of the 3 SID secondary schools to reduce the number of sub-counties without government schools.
Yeah, that report they are highlighting the scorecard of the NRM in Kyenjojo district. Now, NRM supporters in Kivale district have welcomed President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as he commenced campaigns in Bunyoro sub-region. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robert Nabanja, and other party leaders want victory due to the developments in infrastructure, healthcare, education, and water coverage in the area. Henry Okrot gives us more.
Leaders and locals in Kivale district welcomed the NRM presidential candidate as he commenced campaigns in Bunyoro sub-region. It was a political love expressed by action.
I see joy, I see happiness, excitement that the people are ready to receive their president, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. I thank the people of Bunyoro for the support and the love for President Museveni.
This support has reasons of development behind it.
This was formerly bush. Yes, these are the lost counties you read about. We now have Tamaka roads from Mubende, Kakumiro, Kivale, Kagadi, 107 kilometers. From Kakumiro, Kasambia, Narweyo, Buhimba, 93 kilometers. And he has promised us other roads.
But also going down into the rural areas, there has been a number of roads opened up and a number of them rehabilitated. And this is a program that is run annually, and the farmers are able to transport their produce to the different markets with ease.
And when we talk of preserving the gains of what we have achieved in the years, we start with Yoweri Museveni.
So, to the leaders, anyone seeking reasons for voting NRM back, these are some of them.
He has constructed roads for them. He has given them programs for socio-economic empowerment. So they have a reason to vote for President Museveni.
When I passed the roads there, I wasn't believing this was part of where we are coming from. I want to thank them so much, but we'll work together with the Bunyoro to ensure that once we have the oil, this place is totally going to change.
How Ugandans will respond will be on 15th January for a decision on the country's top leadership.
The bus that we are in, the NRM bus, the yellow bus, has 4 tires. The first tire is the president. The second tire are members of parliament. The third tire are LOC 5s plus their councillors. The fourth tire are the LOC 3 and its councillors. You cannot drive a bus with only 3 tires. For us here, what we know is Museveni. We did not know anything about piped water. We now have piped waters in many parts of this district and many parts of Bunyoro.
And of course, all the things that the president has so far done in preparation of getting the oil, I think has all given them a lot of hope.
All that NRM seeks is to protect the gains. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces UPDF is midway through a major medical outreach in Kabale, Ruchiga and Rwanda districts as activities to mark the 45th Tarehe Sita anniversary continue. The program, now 6 days into its schedule, has already provided free medical services to more than 10,000 residents.
The outreach featured static, surgical and mobile teams offering dental.
The result is instant. If I rescued that baby who was supposed to die because of obstructed labor, the result is instant. So they mobilized very well, and we had a good start in Rukunjiri.
The head of the Kabale medical team, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Lopez Mokuye, said they opened operations on 1st December and were fully operational by 2nd December.
As Tarehe Sita celebration in Kabale district, as medical we are giving back to the people. So we have 3 teams here, 3 teams of medical. We have static surgical, we have static medical camp, as well as mobile medical camp. So we inserted in Kabale district on 1st December, and by 2nd December we are already at our stations. The static surgical and static medical camps were in Rubaya, Health Center 4, and then the mobile medical team or camp was in Kakomo, Health Center 4.
Earlier static surgical and static medical camps are based at Rubaya Health Center 4, while the mobile camp began at Kakomo Health Center 4 before shifting to Maziba Health Center 4 after 3 days. Over the 6 days, more than 3,000 residents attended too.
Would say that the UPDF is giving back to the community there. Now, UPDF's Chief Political Commissar, Major General Henry Matsko, and the head of the State House Investment Protection Unit, Colonel Edith Nakalema, have appealed to citizens to uphold the core fundamentals and principles of patriotism. They said these will safeguard the ideologies of the NRM party. The duo was launching the Student Leaders and Alumni at Makerere University.
The student leaders and the alumni town hall meeting, the first of its kind, also marked the launch of a new mentorship program organized by the Makerere University Convocation. The initiative seeks to strengthen the link between government and academia, while promoting leadership, patriotism and national development values among young people. The guest of honor and UPDF Chief Political Commissar, Major General Henry Masiko, called on students, university leaders, staff and alumni to champion the agenda of a unified African state, stressing the need for collective effort in shaping the continent's future.
Africa is the cradle of humankind. All indicators, even biblically, it is clear that Africa is the beginning of humanity. Therefore, Africans deserve better. 3, Africa is the pioneer of civilization. So this shaped a new philosophy that no, we need to challenge this misery.
The head of the State House Investment Protection Unit, Colonel Edith Nakalema, outlined major achievements of the NRA or NRM government, which needed to support Uganda's ongoing, and urged students to safeguard sustainable transformation through discipline, integrity, and national responsibility.
So you have been born in the years of growth and modernization. With a renewed emphasis on stimulating growth, the focus is now on industrialization so as to monetize the economy. As you have invested in academics, you have many years to live, you are the best innovators, you co-create with as the world goes ahead, you are the co-creators with God.
Educationists welcomed the proposed graduate government fund under the NRM 26-2031 manifesto.
In short, higher education should not be restricted to the number of seats and beds in the only university they had, which was Makerere University. So I asked you to clap for the Uganda government for expanding access to higher education.
The electoral season and as convocation and leaders of graduates, we feel we have a big role to play in informing the public about how best we can conduct ourselves.
The event converged students, leaders and alumni from Makerere University, MUBS, Chambogo, Ndeje, Gulu, Nkumba, Isbat, and over 34 other institutions.
Ivan Juko reporting there. Now, a team from the Ministry of Health is touring eastern Uganda to assess the status of water, sanitation and hygiene facilities in schools and health centers. The visit is part of the Sanitation and Hygiene Fund, a 2-year project implemented by the Ministry of Health in partnership with Water for People.
The project aims to improve access to safe water, sanitation and hygiene through health education, awareness campaigns and construction of modern inclusive sanitary blocks and mass hand washing facilities countrywide.
But you realize that in some schools we would have like 100 pupils and above visiting one stance. So we thought it wise that when we have this project, we'll be able to bridge that gap that exists, and we have more stances for the pupils and the patients that we have in the institutions that we have in the country.
That's why mostly in the schools, the latrines that were provided were specifically for girls. And on top of that, we created a washroom for them to prepare themselves, and the mental hygiene incinerator to destroy those mental parts, used parts.
The inspection team from the Ministry of Health traversed the districts of Buyende, Luuka, Kamuli and Buikwe. In Luuka district, local leaders called for additional support, particularly in schools, to increase facilities and improve the students to facility ratio.
So our challenge is in school that most of the schools don't have the required sanitation facilities. Hand washing is very poor. The latrine coverage is 2. I went to one school which had a ratio of 1 to 369 pupils per stance. And this is too big as compared to the national standard of 1 to 50 pupils. So we request for any donor who can help in providing the district and these health facilities with the sanitary facilities to help them serve the people better.
In schools such as Iringa Primary School and Kakonge Primary, Buyende West constituency in Buyende district, administrators report that the newly installed facilities have significantly improved menstrual hygiene for girls, increased students' enrollment, reduced absenteeism and boosted academic performance.
And we have actually achieved a lot in such a way that the dropout of girls in schools has dropped. The completion rate is going high.
But we've been facing challenges with the girl children. During their menstruation periods, they could stay home because they're in periods. And the level or rate of absenteeism was high before they brought this latrine. But when they brought it, the girls started coming to school.
In some health facilities, it was observed that although the structures had been built, they lacked access to water needed to properly operate and maintain them.
There is no constant
consistent hand washing, because when it is rain season, we can wash. If it is dry season, we can. Just imagine if it goes on for the next 3 months without water. So those are the 3 months without hand washing.
Health facilities which benefited from the project report improved hygiene standards, an increase in outpatient attendance and better overall quality of healthcare service delivery.
PD patients who previously were sharing the same toilet with inpatients that used to be so congested. So nowadays they are catered for adequately.
Before, people were not even interested to come to this facility, but they are attracted even by its outlook. And the moment they come in, they really appreciate.
The Sanitation and Hygiene Fund project supports Uganda's efforts to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 6, as well as National Development Plan 4 and Vision 2040. Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Thanks, Mubale, for that story. And now, News Tonight will take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more.
Your way to Morocco with Uganda Cranes and MTN. Simply buy a Gaga bundle by dialing *100 *0# and stand a chance to win a fully paid trip to Morocco. Gaga your way to Morocco with Uganda Cranes and MTN. Together, our fire is unstoppable. Fire! MTN. Terms and conditions apply. MTN Uganda is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission. You see, I've been a painter for almost 4 decades, and I have found Global Paints to be very reliable. First, everyone knows we use Global Paint Undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paints products. I go for Silk Vinyl when it comes to the interior. Then Global Matte for the ceiling, and when it comes to weatherproof, I go for Global Weather Coat Emulsion. With that one, the house will never peel. Now, there you have a sparkling, magical-looking house. And then the client is very happy. He recommends me to another person who recommends me to another person who recommended me to come and do the advert. Global Paint, a reliable product.
Kabogozi, where are you coming from?
From NSSF.
NSSF? You came all the way from Namavundi to get NSSF services. Lekanawe. You walk on the era. NSSF is now everywhere. Come on, I show you.
You can register for NSSF. I'll contribute to your Simate life. Now deep down in the Marara. Make NSSF payments. No hala okubekarangala. NSSF sure is not far. But tomorrow kuhika gochido. Enjoy NSSF from where you are.
Access NSSF services right where you live. With over 20,000 quick teller agents across Uganda, now you can conveniently register yourself, make NSSF payments and contributions to your Smart Life account to Ubira. NSSF, a better life.
Power your moment. Techno, the global partner of AFCON 2025.
The Amnesty Commission law, which was passed in the year 2000, is still operational. Therefore, the Amnesty Commission wishes to appeal to the members of the ADF and LRA who have not yet taken advantage of this law to come out and embrace peace while this law still exists. When you give up rebellion, you will be pardoned and warmly welcomed, resettled and reintegrated back into the community. You can report to the nearest army or police unit, a sub-county chief, a local council official, a magistrate, a religious or cultural leader in your area. These people will bring you to the Amnesty Commission. The Commission has offices in Kasese, Arua, Gulu, Kitgum, Mbale, and the headquarters in Kampala.
this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. The National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu was involved in running battles with joint security deployment in Fort Portal town ahead of his first rally in the Toro region. Kyagulanyi was forced to utilize other alternatives than Fort Portal town to head to Nyangabo, where he was hosted by the residents and supporters of National Unity Platform. Now this week, the Electoral Commission asked security operatives to adhere to the election guidelines. Take a watch. The Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, has called upon the Electoral Commission to ensure a peaceful electoral process as Uganda moves toward elections come 15th January 2026. He also urged security operatives to conduct themselves professionally during campaign period.
As the 2026 general elections campaign gain momentum, there are rising issues of human rights violations. Security candidates and their supporters have crashed during the campaign, resulting into chaos. The Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, has called upon the Electoral Commission to ensure a peaceful electoral process and urged security operatives to act with professionalism.
I still believe that all the problems we have witnessed can be solved. There's need to have clear agreement on how candidates should move. We need to deal with intolerance. Why would I have to beat somebody just because they don't agree with me? The purpose of a campaign is persuasion. And historically, you cannot persuade somebody by beating them. The army and the police support the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is the lead agency. So when you see incidents like this, that's a failure of leadership on the part of the Electoral Commission, which they have got to deal with.
Mao also asked the security agencies to improve communication with the public and candidates to prevent unnecessary confrontations.
We all have to condemn political intolerance. We have to condemn violence. And like I did earlier, it is important for the security forces to dissociate themselves from organized goons, from any political party. This is not just about one political party. What we witnessed in Gulu is totally unacceptable. Gulu is known for tolerance.
Minister Mao communicated this at the opening of the 30th annual Joint Government Department Partners Justice, Law and Order Sector JEROS sub-program review for the year 2024-2025 in Kampala. The head of the Australian Embassy Development Cooperation Office, Dr. Yvonne Katia, was concerned over the human rights violation during the campaigns and the delayed implementation of the Supreme Court ruling, barring trial of civilians in the military courts.
Nevertheless, there are still many cases that have not been transferred. For example, when I recently went to Karamoja, we had 63 individuals in the prison in Maroto, and Maroto still on military charges.
Robert Kasande, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, urged the stakeholders to embrace data correction as a key tool for informed decision-making and improved service delivery.
The continued strengthening of the partnership and collaboration of the JELOS actors is very important for improved service delivery and the realization of the rule of law in Uganda.
This year's Justice, Law and Order Sector Review was held under the theme, Empowering the People, Building Trust, and Upholding Rights. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited has submitted the application of $68 million to the Electricity Regulatory Authority for more investment. During the Electricity Regulatory Authority public hearing of 2025, the distribution company said it will utilize the funding to repair and upgrade the distribution network.
The Electricity Regulatory Authority's public hearing of 2025 centered on power accessibility and reliability for production.
If there is any infrastructure in place planned to cater for the amount of charge we will need to be able to keep our buses on the road and to be able to charge them in the different spots that we are going to set up chargers.
Because my worry is we are going to cook using electricity, but immediately you start cooking, this cooking, sees cooking, power goes off. You've just cooked for 5 minutes and the transformer is burnt.
The regulator reiterated on government's commitment of extending affordable electricity to all.
Must account for this transition. The applications you will hear today reflect a shift in operational responsibility, specifically the provisions to ensure the readiness of UEDCL, the distribution, to assume its distribution mandate.
The Uganda Electricity Distribution Company has submitted a request of $68 million for power line upgrade and electricity extension.
We are working on substations in Kumi and other areas. So the investment across the country is quite a big project that we need to appreciate as a country, that UEDCL is in charge, and power will be stabilizing come 1st of January 2026, thereafter, as we see more progress as we move on. However, what we need to appreciate that investments into the distribution network is capital intensive, and these are civil works. Sometimes they take some time.
To respond to demand growth, because every time you are connecting, every time industrial parks are coming up, every time industries are being set up, to respond to reliability, they have to upgrade because transformers are getting overloaded, lines are getting overloaded, so they have to upgrade the network. Responding to quality of service, they have to set up people who respond and they are able to come and restore faults immediately without much delay, so that service delivery and customer satisfaction is achieved.
The regulator was optimistic about reduced tariffs in the coming quarter.
And the movement in tariffs will be determined by these inputs. So my call upon the public today is to ensure that they scrutinize, they make comments, to ensure that the applications and the details in the resources, the revenues, the projects that they are planning to do are prudent and they make value for the end user consumer.
Other government electricity agencies, the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited and Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, submitted applications for tariff controls in line with government commitment of ensuring universal electricity access by 2030. Komagum Rogers for UBC.
National Social Security Fund has unveiled a 40 Good Deeds initiative as part of its activities to mark 40 years of existence. Kiyunga Muslim Primary School in Mukono is the first beneficiary, receiving a donation of 112 million shillings to improve its learning environment.
The National Social Security Fund's 40th anniversary comes with a package of countrywide goodwill activities. At the launch of the 40 Good Deeds initiative in Mukono district, the fund's management reflected on NSSF's remarkable journey, one that has seen the institution rise to become a regional leader.
As of today, the fund is 28.5 trillion. We have about 3.4 or 3.5 million members. We have paid, when I look at the numbers at the end of November, we had paid 799 billion in benefits. And actually, if you extend it up today, the number actually increases to about 840 billion.
The fund is celebrating 4 decades of making lives better with a focus on members, staff, the brand, the public, and preparing for the future.
So the activities will be carried out by all the NSSF branches across the country, and they will include the following. The first is donation of assorted medical equipment to selected health centers, donation of essential equipment to selected schools that look after children with special needs, renovation of 5 public schools in each of the 5 regions. So we are very lucky that this is one of the first, 5 schools.
So I would recommend in the donations, we would see the donors coming on ground, and we should get a policy that is maybe covering them from all of those bureaucracies, and they come straight away, do the constructions, and then we go into the procurement on the funds that come straight from the government.
Today, NSSF accounts for about 12% of Uganda's GDP, with over 3.5 million members, and has announced a nationwide CSR drive. Dennis Igoa for UBC.
Local government leaders have been called upon to collaborate with the private sector and communities in identifying opportunities and implement the action plans necessary to overcome economic challenges. This was during a review and improvement of the 2025-2030 National Strategy for Local Economic Development in Kampala.
Fragmented project implementation and limited understanding of strategic data have been cited to slow efforts that improve the economic well-being of local communities. Experts call for policy reforms and stronger collaboration between local governments, private sector and communities to harmonize efforts on socio-economic transformation.
If we have policy coherence, then we shall be able to take advantage of the various synergies, both state and non-state, in order to transform our local economies, in order to bring together their efforts, participation enhancement, so as to accelerate socio-economic transformation.
The local government, in partnership with VNG International, has reviewed the 2025 to 2030 National Strategy for Local Economic Development. The revised plan, aligned with NDP4, focuses on driving local economic transformation and widens financial inclusion for marginalized groups.
For LED Thrive, it must be hinged on, one, the partnership that we have between the government, the private sector, and the communities. And in doing this, the communities are able to identify areas that they have high advantage. And this, by implication, would be areas that favor resource mobilization, using resources that are readily available within their localities, and definitely the engagement of youth, women in these initiatives, because we know that the women and youth are the most available resource, human resource we have at local governments.
We want to see the private sector grow, both in the local government, and of course nationally. We would like to see that the industrial reversal that has started taking place is enhanced, because now all factors of production that hitherto were urban-based are now in the rural areas. Talk of rural electrification, talk of source of raw materials, talk of the market. The market now is in the rural areas. So we want to see that this industrial reversal is augmented and is augmented so as promote accelerated socioeconomic transformation.
The 2025 to 2030 strategy also ensures continuity and alignment of local economic development efforts with Vision 2040 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Charlotte Amuge for UBC.
The Federation of Gospel Artists of Uganda, comprising over 40 associations, each with more than 10,000 members, has finally secured a major partnership with the Microfinance Support Center. The collaboration will see the Federation form a circle through which members will receive funding and capacity building support. MSC has already pledged 200 million shillings to be released immediately once the circle is established.
Uganda's music landscape, a gospel artist walks a delicate path required to minister God's glory and yet confronted by the harsh realities of survival. Their voices move congregations, shift atmospheres, and touch souls. Yet we often forget the necessities behind their calling, the very essentials that make possible the spiritual music that heals us.
We have noticed one thing, that our music artists struggle financially in terms of knowledge.
For years, gospel artists have pleaded for financial literacy and recognition, reminding the nation that their journey differs from their counterparts in secular music. It is this gap that the Microfinance Support Center has stepped forward to close.
The good news about it is that they have appreciated the training that we shared with them on mindset, but also helping them to start a journey of organizing themselves into a circle.
Gospel music is often viewed as ministry, not business, and because of that, many artists have struggled in silence. But today, after years of friendship with the Federation of Gospel Artists in Uganda, the Microfinance Support Center has committed 200 million shillings as startup capital for the very first gospel artists circle that will be created from this federation membership.
For starters, we have provided 200 million, which will go into their circle at an interest rate of 8% per annum.
But both MSC and the artists agree funds without capacity building can destroy rather than build. Forming a circle gives MSC the structure it needs to train, mentor, and fund them effectively. And the Federation President, King Wesley, emphasized that these funds come with a big plan.
The bigger plan is capacity building, first and foremost. You know, you can't continue to, even if we get more money that is coming, you give it to people who do not know how to use it, it becomes a very now catastrophic issue. So it's basically first and foremost reorganization and empowering the already existent and also helping the non-existent to actually exist as well.
Countless people, including most musicians in Uganda, have been destroyed because of money. There is a hypothesis that money is the root cause of all evil. But legendary gospel musician Florence Rukundo gives us a demystified version straight from the Bible.
The Bible says that the love of money is the root cause of all evil. Now
let's go back to Fort Portal and we look at the National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who has started campaigns in the western region in Fort Portal City, Kabarole and Bunyangabo districts. Kyagulanyi addressed residents and called upon supporters to turn up in big numbers on voting day to exercise their democratic rights to choose leaders of their choice.
Abantu batoro zize wano kuleta message ya change mubadde mulaba nga tutambula mu nsi yonna nga tutambula mu Northern Uganda, tutambula mu Western Uganda, tutambula mu Central Uganda, nga abantu bonna especially your age nga baagala change, baagala nkyukakyuka.
Nimbasaba nenywa akaruru mukayijuzemu mu boxi. Abantu batebe nimbasaba akaruru tukayijuzemu. Abantu bawaitu toro. Abakuita tugambe twita kukurwa ng'abaana bazalirwa hano waitu. Hano waitu toro turasere kurakurana ngasebenerwa. Ekiiti hano tukalekerero. Twakwaitu ina industry. Abaana ne bakura tubaina milimo. Ng'awaitu izo ni mkwero
That was the NUP candidate campaigning in Fort Portal. Now, Junior Achievement Uganda has awarded seed funding to outstanding youth-led companies under the third-year social equity program that supports marginalized young people. The program, supported by Junior Achievement Africa and the Z Zurich Foundation, has benefited over 46,000 youth in Uganda. Take a watch.
That they come up with these programs, and then we again go ahead with 8 weeks of mentorship and coaching, be able to get them in touch with the volunteers from the different institutions, some alumni who are here.
Junior Achievement Uganda showcased the impact of its social equity program, now in empowering young people with entrepreneurship and business development skills.
What we would like to achieve with not just the social equity project, but all the other programs that Junior Achievement sees, is to empower more youth. It's actually a strategic priority, not just for JA Uganda, but JA Africa and JA Worldwide, that we empower more youth, reach more underserved youth, reach more areas where the youth are, and continue to impact as many youth as possible.
The Managing Director, Aloisio Organics, Don Patrick Bujingo, encouraged young entrepreneurs for being innovative and creating employment.
Young people, you're looking at the biggest percentage of the country, of the population of the country, and where does it go in the future? It's towards probably an opportunity or a challenge. The advantage is if it can be seen as an opportunity where young people can contribute to the betterment of their country. And how is for them to lead the private sector, to be able to create more jobs, so that we don't instead have them as a problem of a huge burden of young people looking for jobs.
Representing the National Social Security Fund, a senior manager of organization development, Abdul Makubia, urged this year's winners to stay competitive.
Reasonable man adopts to the world. What do I mean? There is traffic jam. Yes, there is traffic jam, but it's not an excuse for you to turn up late every time. Because you've known that in Kampala there is traffic jam. So the way the quote goes is that the unreasonable man makes the world adopt to him. Because there is traffic jam, then get mechanisms to make sure that traffic jam is never an issue.
You are here and maybe you have gone through the program or you have not, but you have a business, we have the acceleration program and the NSSF Innovator.
AgriCool won the grand prize of $3,500. It provides solutions for farmers and traders dealing in highly perishable produce.
So my call out to youth is to come and be more engaging and be more concerned about the environment and basically take charge of their future.
The social equity program empowers marginalized youth with skills and resources needed to build sustainable enterprises to end youth unemployment in Uganda.
Your way to Morocco with Uganda Cranes and MTN. Simply buy a Gaga bundle by dialing *100 *0# and stand a chance to win a fully paid trip to Morocco. Gaga your way to Morocco with Uganda Cranes and MTN. Together, our fire is unstoppable. Fire! MTN. Terms and conditions apply. MTN Uganda is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
This is our home, our land, our Uganda. From the rolling hills to the busy streets, from the farmers in the fields to the students in classrooms, we are one people. Elections are a time to choose our leaders, not to fight our brothers and sisters. When violence enters the ballot box, the future of our country is wounded. But when peace leads the way, our nation grows stronger. On election day, choose unity over diversion, respect over hatred, and dialogue over distraction. Love your country, protect your fellow citizens, stand for peace, and say no to electoral violence. This message is brought to you by the Global Election Observation Mission, GEOM, in partnership with the Uganda Electoral Commission. Informed citizens, strong nation.
In the heart of East Africa, Uganda is on a transformative journey to develop its oil and gas resources responsibly and sustainably. Uganda's bustling oil and gas frontier comprises 4 major projects. The Tilenga project will produce up to 190,000 barrels of oil per day. The Kingfisher project will produce up to 40,000 barrels of oil per day. The East African Crude Oil Pipeline, which is the world's most technologically smart oil pipeline that will transport Uganda's crude oil from Uganda to the East African coast. At Kabalega Industrial Park, the Uganda Refinery project will transform crude oil into fuel for homes, industries and progress. It is not only about oil and gas revenues. It is also about opportunities for jobs, training and acquiring skills, enterprise development and technology transfer, with Ugandans at the heart of this development. Uganda is protecting its natural heritage and rich biodiversity while advancing its bright energy future. With investment of close to $20 billion, Uganda's oil and gas projects will provide energy to power Uganda's development and boost growth in agriculture, transport, tourism, manufacturing, infrastructure and beyond. This is Uganda's journey toward energy security, economic growth and a brighter future. At the heart of regulating these developments for the last 10 years stands the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, with a mission of creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at sports news now, and we begin with soccer, where former Sports Club Villa and Uganda Cranes midfielder Hakim Magumba has urged today's players to keep discipline at the center of their careers, warning them against drunkenness, drug abuse and reckless behavior. This was during the Real Star Monthly Sports Awards held at Lazio Restaurant in Kololo. We have more in the following story.
Gumba, who was honored with the legendary award, said the discipline he maintained throughout his 18-year career kept him at the top of Ugandan football.
Amagezi gempa abasambi b'omupiira balina okutambulira ku bintu bibiri. In case ne when kino nkikoze ddi. In case nga maze kikola kinaddirira. Ago magezi nga abasambi. Okusinga bana abajja abato. Bajenga bamanyi nti okozesa bino ebiragala si birungi.
He also criticized former players who blame football leadership for their struggles, reminding them that no federation in the world is responsible for the personal welfare of players. The November outstanding sports personalities included swimmer Gloria Muzito, who won 2 gold and 1 silver at the Islamic Solidarity Games, and James Bogere, who impressed at the Under-17 Football World Cup. Golf's gross amateur player Joseph Chinyai also took home a gong after victories in Chinyara and Kakira. The awards, organized by Real Star Sports Agency and sponsored by Jude Color Solutions and Fortibet, have honored over 300 athletes since 2018.
Lifetime Achievement Award kirabo kino kiweebwa omuntu oyo abaddewo nabanga akusukkulumye ku balala mu bbanga lyasobodde okusavinga omuzannyo ogwo, asobola okuba akyasavinga, asobola okuba yagunnyuka, tusobodde okuba this time round tugenze mu mupiira, tulina omusajja bamuyita Speed Merchant Hakim Boda Boda Magumba.
So we have 3 medals, including the
The road to the December 21st grand finale of the Nile Special National Open Pool Championship is tightening as the last qualifying rounds roll out across the country.
Over the weekend, strong performances were recorded at Round Place Gayaza, Vintage Lounge Lira and Townsend Bantinda, where veteran Humphrey Nsubuga dominated with a clean 5-0 win over Johnson Yiga to qualify. Only 45 of the 128 men's slots remain, with 15 venues hosting the final regional qualifiers this weekend.
They called to the government that if we can make sure and help us and have many facilities that are indoor stadiums strictly for the sport, I believe we can move this sport from the bus to the schools, even to the churches.
Key centers include Casablanca Wandegea, Mbiko Super Guest House in Busia, and Freedom Vibes in Arua.
The game so far has been so well. We have played very well, and the performance has been good to everyone.
Major focus will be on Eternal Arena in Mukono, where former national team captain Habib Sebuguzi will be battling for one of the 3 slots available. Women's qualifiers are also in their final stages with only 9 of the available 32 slots left, and there will be competition on the final day at Solview Iganga, Paul Games in Mbarara, and King's Sport Entebbe. With the regional qualifiers nearing completion, anticipation for the Lugogo Indoor Stadium showdown continues to rise.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On Sign Language, it's been Elizabeth Nakakuni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night, but our next and final bulletin comes your way at 10 p.m. See you then.
How are you? I'm fine. Baby, whenever I eat chips and chicken, I feel stomachache.